Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. The text reads, "Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him." When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them until it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come to the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. When they opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, In Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping, and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because they are not. Does this account bother you? Are you so weak and emasculated that a little death makes you queasy? Well, I guess it's good that none of you will ever have a throne or the power that comes with it. Most everyone before me in this Christmas series has told you their names. You already know mine, all of you. It may leave a bitter taste as it rolls off of your tongues, or make you tremble as it overwhelms your mind, but that does not bother me in the least. Nonetheless, I will say it anyway, not because I care about your opinion, but merely because I enjoy the sound of it. I am Herod the Great, ruler and king over all Judea. As rulers, my line started with a man named Antipas in 78 BC. And while some described him and us as shockingly immoral, I much prefer the term liberated. We Herods would never be bound by scripture or religion or even by decency. If we wanted something, we either lied or stole or cheated our way into it. That is, in fact, how I became the king of Jews without even being a Jew. My family and I were Idumeans, descended from Esau, not Jacob. But why a little thing like that keep me off the throne when a good enough lie could convince Rome of anything? Before you could say usurper, I was the king of the Jews that I so hated, and all was gained by trickery and deceit. But before you go getting all self-righteous with me, especially when it comes to that, you may want to consult history and see who started that little lying battle. Genesis 27, beginning in verse 1, the text says, And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here I am. And he said, Behold, now I'm old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, and that my soul may bless thee before I die. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat it, and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, according to that which I commanded thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went and fetched, and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob her younger son, and she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hand, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, and sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord thy God brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and brought him wine that he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore God give thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said to his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said to his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob, because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother. Esau's own mother conspired with his brother against him. They lied and cheated and stole, but God promised it to him, you say. I don't care. Had it been me, I would have held the grudge forever. Esau didn't. He forgave, and he and Jacob were later reconciled. But our peoples went different ways after that day, and God, who promised to bless Jacob above Esau, did exactly as he promised. Esau became a mighty people with a kingdom and dukes, but the line of the Messiah and the power of the blessing of God went with the line of my brother. We watched as they grew powerful and strong. We saw from a distance as their monarchy began. We watched in envy as Saul came to the throne, and then David the great, and then Solomon the wise. But then came Rehoboam, and things went sadly badly for our brothers. Rehoboam split the kingdom. Israel later fell to Assyria. 10 tribes now gone into captivity. Judah, 70 years later, fell to Babylon. But the fall was not complete. God favored his wretched people and refused to lay aside his promises to them. And so Babylon fell to the Medes and the Persians. Cyrus decreed a return of the Jews, and return they did. They rebuilt their city and their walls and their temple and their nation. But the years were passing, oh, so quickly. And there came a day when a new power arose over all the world, and we remnants of the Edomites especially saw our opportunity. Israel was by then divided into parts. Up north there was Galilee, a wretched assemblage of nothingness. The middle of the land was Samaria. But the great treasure was Judea, the southern portion of the land with its great capital of Jerusalem. Oh, the rulers and the power that had been in that place. And now, as of 37 B.C., I, an Edomite, was made king of the Jews and ruler over all Judea. I converted to Judaism to make a good show for all my subjects. I studied the Jewish scriptures while never believing a single one. The wicked life was good. I married and married and married even more. I had 10 wives. 2 of them were my own nieces. The love of my life, though, was Mary Amney. I divorced Doris so that I could have her. Oh, Mary Amney. I cherished her above all the wealth of the earth. I also murdered her. She was of the line of those in power who came before me. You do understand, I trust, that I could never just let someone like that live. What if she turned against me? My power could have been in serious jeopardy. We did have 2 children together before I killed her. 2 boys, Alexander and Aristobulus. I murdered them as well. It never is wise to leave loose ends. Stop looking at me like that. I'm not a monster. I'm a very good man. Why, ask the Jews. Yes, I killed many of them, but I also rebuilt their pitiful little temple into the most magnificent structure on earth. What's a bit of bloodshed compared to that? Yes, my life that some would call wicked was so very good. And then they came. Matthew 2:1-2. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. Into the city they rode, and into the palace they came, their trains behind them, their gifts before them, seeking a baby who would be king. They were ushered into my presence. Where is he that is born King of the Jews? They asked. We've come to worship him. I did not give a hint as to the rage in my heart. My face showed nothing. Nonetheless, those who knew, knew. Verse 3, when Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Fools, all of them. Yet smart enough to know that I was about to unleash hell on earth if necessary, but not just yet. First, I needed to separate these wise men from some information that they were carrying. But in order to properly do that, I had to send them out for a bit and speak to a few others. Verses 4-6, and when he'd gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. So now I knew the where. Bethlehem, that wretched little village on the ridge just 5 miles away. That is where this king had been born, and that is where he would die. But I knew that Bethlehem was crowded thanks to Caesar Augustus. And if possible, I wanted to avoid any upheaval that would cause Rome to look this way. So I brought the wise men back in and sent them on a little heartfelt mission for me. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also." Wise men indeed. They fell for it hook, line, and sinker. Soon they would come right back to me and tell me where the would-be king was, and that would be his last night on earth. I waited. And I waited, and I waited until I was tired of waiting. What was taking him so long? And then finally word came, not from the wise men, but from an outpost sentry. He had seen the wise men depart the land another way. Somehow, some way, they found out my intentions. They even dared mock me on the way out of the land. They mocked me! Well, I would show them. I would show them all. If I can't find the one child in the one house, I would murder every child for miles around just to make sure I got the Christ child. I sent my soldiers at once. None dared question my order, knowing that their lives and the lives of their own children were on the line. Weeping. Soon the reports of weeping and wailing from Bethlehem and all her border areas came to my ears. I'd been responsible for the deaths of, so many innocent children. But did I get the right one? Did I get the one I sought? I had no way of knowing, and that only added to my paranoia. You should know that I was not a young man by then. I was 70 years old, paranoid, delusional, and my health was failing badly. The torments of my sins and evil deeds weighed on my mind night and day as if they would drag me into the pit. 2 years later, they did. I died in torments and agony and awoke in hell to even greater torments than I even thought was possible. I looked up and could see Abraham across the abyss in paradise. At once I knew that all of the scriptures I had read and mocked were real. They were true. And that meant that the babe I sought to kill was the one sent by God to redeem mankind from sin. He loved me. He loved even me. He came from heaven to earth for me. And I, wretched, abominable fool that I was, repaid that love with hatred and evil. He didn't even come to be a king at his first advent. I could have stayed on the throne with no challenge from him. Or I could have avoided hell. I could have had my sins forgiven, forgotten forever. Oh, that he would be willing to save a wretch like me. All I had to do was mean it when I said to the wise men. All I had to do was go with them and bow before him and believe in him. That's all I had to do. And I could have been saved. I could have been saved. There are no sadder words than I could have been saved. It's too late. Forever, eternally too late for me, but not for you. What choice will you